Welcome to The Woman's Hustle, thrills and spills of entrepreneurship. This show is going to take you on a journey into the dynamic world of female entrepreneurship. In this show, we're going to celebrate victories, navigate the challenges, and embrace the roller coaster ride of building a business. We're going to dive into the stories of women who have dared to strike out on their own as they share their experiences, insights, and lessons learned. So, whether you're an aspiring entrepreneur or a seasoned business owner, join us as we explore the hustle, the thrills, and yes, the spills of entrepreneurship. Let's get it. Welcome back to The Woman's Hustle, thrills and spills of entrepreneurship. It is your girl, Coach K Woods, and I appreciate y'all so much for tuning in. If you see my beautiful face, then you see I'm not here by myself. So I'm going to allow my guest the honors of introducing herself. Hello, hello, hello.
Hello. Thank you so much for having me.
How are you?
I am very well. I really am. So excited to be on here.
Thank you for joining The Woman's Hustle. I'm excited to have you. Please let my listeners know who you are, baby.
Oh my goodness. Well, my name is Dr. Sonja Elise Freeman, also known as Queen Diva. I am an entrepreneur, musician, and inspirational influencer. And just really excited to be here.
Me too.
I can't stop smiling.
Hey, I love it. When you're in the presence of another dope queen, baby, it's just super exciting. So I am so glad to have you here. I've been looking forward to our recording for a while. So I'm just as excited, believe me. So thank you for being here again. So let's dive into it, sis. Tell us a little bit about your backstory, how you became Dr. Sonja for one, but just a little bit about your backstory overall.
Wow. Yeah. So about 20 years ago, I accepted my call to ministry, and I was 35. I'm 55 now, and
Come on, 55.
Okay. I wasn't really sure what. I just knew that the Lord called me to start on a spiritual journey, and knowing that I had to trust Him completely. And so all along the way, these last 20 years, I've done so many things that I didn't even imagine. I love to sing. I love to teach the Word of God. I've always loved church. I was a little church girl, 7 years old, seeking Jesus and just trying to understand who He is, what He is, why everybody wants to know Him, why are they going to church on Sunday. But It wasn't until 20 years ago that I really just felt in my spirit like, okay, I need to seek Him a little closer. I need to study the Word of God. I got to be in the prisons ministry. I was in the Toastmasters ministry. I was in the youth ministry, the elderly ministry. I started off in Houston. I'm in Houston now. Okay. And I started my journey in Houston. And then I made my way to San Antonio. And then I also was in New York for a quick time. I was in Jersey. And I got to do things that I never thought I'd do, like be in a pulpit and preach. That's something I never imagined that I'd be doing. And I had that opportunity when I finally got to New York. I started in 2004. By the time I got to New York in 2012, I started to actually preach in the pulpit. I actually was in a ministry in Chicago for a while. It's called Pacific Garden Mission, and it's a women's ministry. And I was there for 90 days, and I learned about women's leadership, women's ministry. It was tied to an actual, what's it called? Shelter. And it's the same place that actually films. I don't know if you heard of a radio show called Shackle. And the Lord sent me to Chicago, and I was there learning and seeing the live broadcast live, helping women who are homeless as young as 18, as old as 85. I mean, it was just and then 2012, when I got to New York, I got to really get into my musical dreams. I'm a trained vocalist. I went to Prairie View A&M University, from the Texas A&M system, and I got a bachelor's in music and fashion merchandising design. And so I had always dreamed of singing on Broadway. And that is exactly what I did. So the Lord led me to New York, and then I started doing my own production. It's called Spectacle Woman, a Phyllis Hyman tribute. And I was able to do that tribute on and off Broadway between 2013 and 2019.
Oh,
And I started out with just 11 people the first show.
right.
And by 2019, I had a sold out show off
Oh,
Broadway.
wow.
And so,
Come
and it was
on,
just,
Cliff.
and so the whole time that I'm doing the Lord's work, He also fulfilled my dreams that I always
Yes.
wanted to do. And so it's a great, valuable lesson I learned in ministry, in music, and I also did fashion. I competed in several pageants and won and got titles appointed, and I trained models who've gone on to do New York Fashion Week, London Fashion Week. You know, it's just so many things that I had in my head
Oh, my
and I had in my
goodness.
heart.
Yeah.
I mean, I could talk to you for days about my
Oh, I
experience.
know. And listen, I got chills because it's just so like I love to hear those kind of stories. Like these are the stories that people need to keep them motivated and to understand that there are dreams can come true. Dreams can come true. First of all, for 2 decades. Okay, let's talk about that. 2 decades of following your dreams, entrepreneurial side wise, because this really you were entrepreneur before entrepreneur was really talked about. You know what I'm saying? You were there before anybody else was even talking about entrepreneurship. Talk a little bit about that. You know, when you were out here doing what it is that you do from the ministry, you know, to the musicals, to Broadway, you know, with Divine Voices Media itself, your own organization. Tell us a little bit about what you do with Divine Voices Media.
Absolutely. So when I did accept my call, originally I had a business called Queen Diva Entertainment NYC, and I used to produce music panels and music showcases in New York City in the late 90s to the early 2000s. And that's a whole nother show.
What you say? That's a whole nother one, baby.
That's a
Well, you know
whole nother
what? We will definitely
show.
have you back on the Woman's Hustle with that story, okay?
Yes,
We
because
will
that's
have
definitely
you
a
back.
woman's hustle story. I'm telling you, that's a woman's hustle
Absolutely.
story. So when I came, because I was in New York and I came back to Houston, and that's when the Lord called me and He said, "You're not going to do Queen Entertainment NYC anymore. I want you to do Divine Voices Media." So I started Divine Voices Media with a radio show. I had a local radio show here in Houston, community radio. It was at KPFT 90.1. And I was on that radio station for 2 years. And during those 2 years, I got to meet so many amazing people in the gospel industry because it was the same time that I started my journey. So when I started my journey, I got active in my church, but I also got active in having my own radio show. And so the Lord led me to call the show Divine Voices with Queen Diva, sharing your divine voice through life's changing journey. So that was my tag for the radio show. So I had everybody from Olu Dara to Marcus D. Wiley, who's on the show with Yolanda Adams for some years, a comedian. And so I had a lot of people from Houston, James Fortune, even got to interview Dave Hollister when he first got his ministry going. Now he's Bishop Hollister, Jay Moss. I got to meet a whole lot of great people being at the mega church that I was a part of, and then also having the radio show. And that's what kicked off Divine Voices Media in 2004. I moved from community radio and to Divine Voices of Queen Diva to podcasting on Podomatic.com. And it's still up. The shows are still up on the show, on the website. And so I moved to podcasting with them, and I was there for a couple of years. And then I moved to Blog Talk Radio. And Blog Talk Radio started to get its momentum around 2000. So Blog Talk Radio was it was really pulling up steam. So I was on Blog Talk Radio, and I was on there from Blog Talk Radio from 2010 all the way to 2020. And then I moved to Spotify. I've been podcasting since 2006.
Oh my God.
And that was the production. And I got my original radio production from Prairie View. At Prairie View, I was the news girl at KPFT 90.1 on the Rod Goodman Show. And that was my first time being on the radio back in the late 80s, because I went to school in the 80s. I'm really telling my age, but yes.
Hey, that's all right, baby, because you still look good for it, baby. We trying to get there.
It's incredible, and I can't believe it's been that many years. This year makes 35 years that I've been in radio. And it didn't really click until I was sharing my story with someone who was talking about starting a podcast.
I'm only almost 4 years in the game for podcasting. So like to hear you
Wow.
say that, you all the way back on 2006, that is a story all by itself.
I'm telling
You
you.
was
And it was
podcasting when podcasting wasn't podcasting.
it
Like,
wasn't cool. It wasn't
yeah,
cool. Podcasting was it was a derivative from blogging, because blogging
yeah,
wasn't cool until it was cool. And then
yep,
once that got old, and they went to podcasting. And now podcasting didn't get really cool until the pandemic. People
yep.
didn't really know how to take podcasting.
That's
They
when I
didn't really
started
know what it
mine.
was. Yeah, in the pandemic, that's when everybody jumped on and did podcasts. It's a
Yep,
way to express themselves, to be creative, and to still reach people because you're closed in and the house can't go anywhere. This is one way to reach everybody. But yes,
it's
podcasts have
fact.
been around that long. And so when everybody said, well, how long has been podcast? I said, well, honey, I've been podcast since 2006.
That
2006? Yes. When it wasn't cool to podcast, because I
when
saw
it
the
wasn't
vision.
cool.
Actually, I saw the vision for podcasting, online radio, back in, I'm going to say 99, because they were talking a little bit about it.
Right.
But they call it that because it's online and they use pods or whatever. So it made sense. But I knew back in 99, 2000, that podcasting was going to be the future. And now look at us in 2024. And everybody, not only they're podcasting, but they're broadcasting like you're doing. Because really, basically, people don't understand what you're doing really is no different than television.
Yeah,
You got a bigger audience because the whole world could see you.
absolutely.
Everybody can't see you on television because it goes so far on television.
Yep.
But here, anyone in the world that has Wi-Fi can see your
And
show.
access it. And that's exactly why I think that I wanted to become that. Being my own personal journey shifted me into entrepreneurship, but I wasn't even wanting to be a full-time entrepreneur. I only was going to coach part-time and do a podcast for fun. But when you, like you said, become obedient and stay in alignment with what you're supposed to do, I never would have imagined that I'd be sitting here today. For one, as a full-time entrepreneur, with two, successful podcasts, for three, stepping in my purpose and allowing my purpose to fuel my passion and let the finances come from that, because everybody's like, oh, you haven't worked. I have not worked a corporate job since November of 2020. And I haven't tried to work a corporate job. I haven't tried to put in a resume, although there have days that I have as an entrepreneur where I'm like, you know what, forget it. I'm just gonna go get a job, that happens, but in the last 18 months, I have not had that desire nor that frustration, because I have really got myself in alignment with what's destined for me and what I'm supposed to be doing, which is why the Woman's Hustle was born, because I want women to hear the raw and uncut stories of us women that are going through these things. Because a lot of times as women, we won't talk about these type of things because we are scared and shamed and feel like we're going to be judged because our journey is not perfect. You know what I'm saying? And we do that on a personal level, but more so as entrepreneurs. I talk to so many women that are scared to pursue their business further because they don't want to get the help because they don't want to expose where they're truly at on the journey, or they're just scared to be supported all the way around, because that strong woman stigma. So just walking in that purpose, is just everything to me. And being able to have this platform, and like you said, being able for it to be heard across the world by simply a Wi-Fi connection,
That's
like
right.
that fuels me every day. I know you told me about your passion and your purpose, and you told us with that amazing story. Please, y'all heard that story, okay? Y'all heard what she said. But I kind of want to get into a little bit of your biggest thrill, like over the past 20 years, and you might have a few. So if you have a few you want to share, because again, the OG and the entrepreneur and podcast game, share your biggest thrill. If you have more than one, feel free to share that. But what do you feel like is your biggest thrill since being on this journey for the past 2 decades?
Oh my goodness. Yeah, it's more than one thrill, because it was so many levels that I had grown since 2004. I would say musically, my biggest thrill was doing the sold out show off-Broadway in honor of Phyllis Hyman. That was my biggest thrill, because I had wanted to do it since I was in college, and I didn't know what I wanted to do, but I just knew I wanted to do something in honor of her because I loved her music, never knowing that I would actually meet her family members and they would tell me that they loved what I was doing. Even a few of them came to the show, and I was able to give the first time I did it, I was able to give it was like a letter of support from the mayor of New York and his wife, because they are real big advocates of mental health awareness. And of course, I don't know if you know of anyone that's watching. Phyllis Hyman committed suicide. She dealt with mental health issues, and the former mayor of New York, de Blasio, and his wife, Charlene, they were big advocates for mental health and mental health awareness. So when I submitted for a letter of support from the mayor, it was no brainer for them to say yeah, because Phyllis Hyman loved New York. She was born in Pittsburgh and she was raised in Philly, but she loved living and thriving in New York City. And when I was able to ask them for a letter of support, they gave me a letter of support. So I made a copy and gave it to her second cousin, Vanessa Farley. She came and she was just in tears and she loved it. And she told me, don't stop what you're doing. You're doing a great job keeping the music legacy alive for my cousin. And so when you get moments like that, after years of thinking about something and then bringing it to life, and then you meet a family member that tells you face to face, you do my cousin well. It is the greatest feeling ever. And she was dedicating that song to many of her friends who died from AIDS. I did the research. I'm the kind of person, before I do anything, I research everything. And I was able to talk to family members, and I was able to talk to assistants. As a matter of fact, her longest assistant, God bless his soul, he came to one of the shows, the sold out shows.
That's amazing.
And he told me, you do Phyllis well. He said, I was in tears in some of those songs. I'm going to tell everybody about your performance. And he raved about my performance. And he passed away recently. I want to say about 2 years ago.
Oh, wow.
Him and his wife became on his birthday. It was September 3rd. And he had his eyes closed. That was just the greatest compliment.
That's a thrill for real. That's
That's
a lot of thrills.
Come on, this was the guy that produced her. You know, he arranged her songs, and he had his eyes closed the entire concert.
Just visualizing.
Oh my goodness! And then when it was over, and I went up to him, I said, "Well, what do you think?" He said, "You embodied Phyllis." He said, "You totally embodied Phyllis tonight." He said, "I'm so glad that I came," because I had been asking him for years to come.
Yeah.
And he finally said, "Yes, I'm going to come. I'm going to come on my birthday. I'm bringing my wife." I said, "You got free seats. You right in the front. You don't have to worry about nothing. Just show up."
That part. There you go. Just come on. Just come on. Hey, you have definitely made an impact just on every level of, what you've done. Like, I think that that's amazing. Like, and to be able to provide that kind of memory for those that were, close to her, and, having that, hey, that's dope. Like, I think that that's super dope. Yeah. That's super dope.
It was so cool. That was in 2018. It was 2018. This year, had she lived, this would have been her 75th birthday, come July 6th.
You have such a unique entrepreneur journey, but it's just that unique. And I think that's important. I want people to understand that everybody's journey is going to be different, but even though your personal purpose has been aligned like perfectly with what you're doing, it is still your journey of entrepreneurship. It's just your journey, Doc. And I think that that's amazing, because, and I want people to stop trying to compare their life and their journey to other people's. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because your journey is unique from day one. I can already just tell from the story. You have a unique journey, but it was your journey. So I hope that the audience takes from that your journey is not going to be the same as somebody else's. And because it's not, that doesn't mean it's not meant for you to go through that journey.
Yes.
And actually, and with that, I just want you to tell us, like, what do you feel like has been your hardest spiel throughout this journey of entrepreneurship?
Yeah, entrepreneurship is trust. You really have to trust that this is for you. Entrepreneurship isn't for everyone.
You better tell them again. You better tell them again. You better tell them again. Because I talk about it all the time. It's not for everybody.
It's really, really not. If you're not disciplined, if you're not focused, if you're not determined, if you're not purposeful, if you're not intentional, all those things are part of being an entrepreneur.
Mhm.
And for me, because my entrepreneurship is wrapped around spirituality,
Yeah.
if I don't trust God in each thing that I do, it's not going to work.
Mhm.
And even with the name being Divine Voices. So it's not only is it my voice that the Lord is wanting me to share, my divine voice, but he also wants me to help others with their divine voice and understand that everyone has a divine voice.
Yes.
Everyone has a dream that God has put inside of us to fulfill and make happen. And it's really up to you to decide, are you going to work toward making that dream a reality? You can't just sit back and say, well, I'll put it together if I get the money, or I'll put it together if I get the help, or I'll get it started. No, you have to start with wanting to share your divine voice first and foremost. However way that is to share it is entirely up to you and the person you serve, the godly person you serve. That's between you and your godly person. When you figure that out, then you got to trust that you are going to be able to share your divine voice and don't attach it to money. Because a lot of people get caught up in entrepreneurship. They get frustrated because the money don't come right away.
Yeah.
And what I mean right away, like 10 years.
Yeah. Hey, because really, let's be real. Like the entrepreneur journey, it takes 5 years to even get yourself established. Minimum. And people don't get that. People think that you're supposed to profit out the gate. You don't even have a foundation. You don't even have an analysis done, and you just automatically think that you're supposed to profit and make money, and that's just not how it works. If you are trying to, and I tell people all day, look, if you just want to flip some stuff, then that's what you say. But don't say that you want to be an entrepreneur, and it's okay.
There's different levels of entrepreneurship.
Absolutely.
Some people just hit it and quit it, and then go back to their day job. And then some kind of go along and still have a day job. And then there's those of us that straight do it all day. We just hit it. We hit it all day, every day. And there's no days off. There's no days off. And I've been sharing on my TikTok. I've been sharing on TikTok entrepreneur tips every day. And it's important. And I'm trying to. The reason why I did that is because a lot of people have been romanticizing being an entrepreneur. And it sounds like a great idea. It sounds like a beautiful and lovely idea. But when you get in it, like really get in it, you realize there's nothing romantic about doing entrepreneurship, especially when you want to do it full time.
Did you ever have a point in time in your life that you said, you know what, I'm going to go out here and get me a regular job?
Oh, absolutely. And there's times that I had to. There's times that I had to do something part-time, but I still kept my entrepreneurial business going because I had to. It was like, it's like having that business was a part of me now. That's not something that I could separate. There's some people who can't. They can separate and just pick it up on the weekends and it's, I'm just going to do some knitting and maybe go to the flea market and sell a few little bags. And then I'll go back to my 9 to 5 and get my 5,000,
and if that's what works for you,
whatever.
Yeah.
And that's great.
But,
it is great.
But I thank you for being transparent with that side of it, because it's romanticized, it's publicized as this straight thing. Oh, get your LLC and you can do this. It's a lot more involved in that. It's a lot more stuff that's involved. And I just want us to start paying attention. If you're looking to want to do something for the long term, then baby, you better get ready for the ride and the roller coaster of your life. Because you're going to have some thrills, you're going to have some spills, you're going to have some ups, downs, wins, losses, lessons. Like all of that is going to be a part. And I love what you said a few minutes ago about having to be trusting, but also having to be open-minded, having to be understanding, and realizing that there are risks that you have to take. All of that is so important to remember as you begin the entrepreneur journey, continue the entrepreneur journey, elevate the entrepreneur journey. all of that comes into play. There's always evaluations that have to be done. It's not
Absolutely.
just one and done. You might
It's
evolve.
ongoing.
I've been 4 different coaches since I started Upgraded Mindsets in 2020. But it's
Mm-hmm.
called evolving. That's calling me following my purpose, aligning myself, getting in tune with what it is that I want to do, which is always was going to be helping women. That's one thing that has not faltered.
Mm-hmm.
I knew, because I've always helped women. Even when I wasn't at my best, I was still there to help. But now getting myself in tune and getting in alignment and trusting my process, hey, now I'm able to do it in a more mentally healthy way. And that's just what it's about for me. Just the super importance of being mentally available to help others be mentally available.
Absolutely. And
So,
another point that I want to share too, it's not always about just getting the money, because
come
I
on.
know a lot of people get caught up in that.
Yeah.
It's really knowing about your craft, knowing how your why,
Yep.
connects to what it is that you're supposed to be offering to the world, and you developing for you to be an expert at what you do. Because if you're an expert at what you do, you don't have to haggle and bargain your fee with people. And that's
talk
a
about
lot
it.
of people get caught up in that, like, oh well, I charge $150 an hour. Oh, that's a lie. I said,
Okay,
well,
all right then. Have a
well,
good day.
you know what I'm saying? But it takes time to get to that, because when I first started, I was like, okay, well, $100 an hour. Well, that's a lot. Okay, well, maybe
Okay, well, I'll
75.
Yeah.
Oh, well, okay, well, no, okay, 50. I'm
Yeah.
trying to bargain with them, and then when I do get down to the price they want to pay, then they're like, oh, well, I'll think about it.
You better. Hey, that is facts all day, baby. That is facts. That be what they say. Oh, I'll think about. Oh, okay.
I said,
But
you know what? Never again. So I
they
was
didn't
like,
want to show
and that
up.
was a lesson. And I just want anyone that's listening,
Yes.
do not bargain your price.
Your price is your price.
The price is the price is the
That
price.
part.
And the price is your expertise. It's your time. It's your manpower. It's your connections. It's your education. That's what all the price is.
Man, you better come on. You better talk about it.
That's what people need to understand. The price is all of that. It's not
Yep.
just, oh, that's kind of high. Would you even break down the price? My $60,000 MBA, my $100,000 doctorate, my $50,000 undergrad, and then the 20 years, 30 years experience.
Hey,
actually, you're getting the deal.
You really is. Because let me tell you something, baby. The last year, I have stood on business when it came to my prices. So mentorship, coaching, listen, y'all got to stop shortchanging yourselves if y'all are wanting to build legacies for yourself. You got to stop shortchanging. Invest in yourself. Invest in your future. Invest in your thoughts. Invest in your business. Invest in your growth. Keep investing as long as it takes. And it could be investing your time by going to like a webinar. It could be, price wise too, but be open-minded to invest in yourself, whatever that looks like for you. Oh my God.
That is a real thing that you just said. Invest.
Yes.
Invest. If you can invest for your job to get a promotion, then you can invest in being an entrepreneur.
That part.
And that takes time and effort. You decide, okay, is it worth me that $150 an hour to get all this information from her so that I can get started?
Yeah.
Or is it me not paying nothing and still going in a circle and not going nowhere?
And wonder and stuck and mad and frustrated and trying to do it on my own.
Still trying to figure it out.
You
don't have the wisdom or the knowledge or the understanding, but you have somebody who's willing to give you 1 hour of their expertise for that amount of money that they told you that they're going to give you. Then you should be ready with pen, pad, and phone ready to record the whole section. So you can go back and listen. Because to me, I know if I'm paying $150,000, $200,000, $15,000,
3 pens in case they run out.
I'm having a pen and I'm recording this session so I can go back and listen myself and know that I might miss something writing down and thinking about stuff. But if I'm recording on my phone, I know I got it to go back to you, because that's what you do when you're investing. Just like you would for college, just like you would for trade school, just like you would for a certificate. So think of it in terms of that 1 hour you're paying for that information that you need to get to the next level. You can Google all day long, and I am mad at Google University because there's some things I needed to learn on Google University. But you can't get the specialization for your specific, you know what I'm saying? Because that's what you hire coaches for. That's what you hire consultants for. But the very specific thing that you're working on in Google, you got to figure out how to type it just right the way you want that
That's
answer.
where it can pull up. Yeah, because otherwise you'll get the you'll get the
all these other
generalized
things,
answer.
and you got to sit through and try to figure it out. But if you're paying somebody for that amount they said, and they're going to go and they're going to listen to what you have to say, they're going to read the information you have, and then it's okay. This is the route that would be a best fit for you from what I see and what you're saying. It's personalized. It's customized. You can't go better than that.
Right, and can't. You can't. I'm going to tell y'all right now. Y'all heard her. First, up close and personal. Stop shortchanging yourself. Stop shortchanging your business. Stop shortchanging your side hustle. Whatever it is, if you're wanting to turn a side hustle into a full-time business, stop shortchanging yourself. A coach is the same thing as a basketball coach. We are here to give you the guidance. We are here to give you the strategies, the resources, the tools, techniques to make yourself better, to make your business better. Stop being scared to invest in yourselves.
And people get overwhelmed by the terminology. Don't be overwhelmed by the business terminology.
Absolutely.
Those things are just things that are ways to help you. But you should want to level yourself up to learn the business terminology.
Yeah.
When you say you're an entrepreneur, that means you're in business. You're in the business of making money. So if you're in the business of making money, you might want to learn the jargon within what you're doing. Absolutely. And the only way you're going to do that is that you need to take classes. You need to get certified. You need to go and have a coach or a mentor session. You need to be around other people who have a year's experience knowing what you're doing. You need to join networking opportunities and professional clubs. All those things come together. No man is an island. So if you're trying to figure it out yourself, you're not going to get to the level that you really aspire to because you don't know. You don't know, baby. That's why you have to connect with people. That's why you got to talk to people. That's why you got to ask questions. And the thing about it is, it's not that people are going to always charge you. If they see your tenacity, if they see your ambition, if they see your drive, they see your passion, they may give a little more free. They may give a little more.
I've done it. I've done it, and I do it. Like I do it when I see ones that are absolutely. When I see people that are like dedicated and they are drive, and we have had the conversations and they are being actionable and doing, then absolutely, I'm gonna go above and beyond because they going above and beyond. You know what I'm saying? And if we have the problem with finance, hey, okay, well, you know what? Let me gift. I've done it. I've gifted free months to clients, if they came up short, if things weren't going, but I see your drive, like you say, your tenacity, this month free. Christmas time, I had 5 clients that I gifted a whole month of service for as a Christmas gift to them because I seen they drive. These were longer term clients. You know what I'm saying? They weren't like newer ones, but these had clients that had been with me for 12 months or longer. So I gifted that to them for Christmas, and they were so grateful.
Appreciative.
You know what I'm saying? And it made them go harder because they like, man, she awarded me for the work that I'm doing. And I need that. I need you to keep building and to keep growing. Let's get it.
Absolutely.
So like just understand that, y'all. There are people that are willing to work with you on any level, but you got to be ready to work for yourself. Your work for yourself.
That's a word.
Woo, girl, we'll be here all day talking about this. Listen, I'm telling you, I need you to let the listeners know what you got upcoming and where they can find you at in these social media streets.
The one thing that I am doing right now is just promoting my 20th anniversary. So this is called the Shine Resplendently Tour. Catch me on a podcast near you. And you can reach me on Divine Voices Medias everywhere. So anywhere you see anywhere, you'll see me. And also, I'm a songwriter. I'm a singer-songwriter, and I have music out. My single "Is You In" is on R&B charts. It's a Reverb Nation. I don't know if anyone's familiar with that. It's a independent artist chart. And so I'm number 10. I've been number 10 for many years. I've been on there for a while. So number 10. the
I
R&B
love
song,
it.
and then my gospel song, This Day, is also number 10 on the gospel charts for Houston,
I love
Reverb Nation.
it.
So you can find me as
Oh
Queen
my
Diva.
God.
Yes,
Much
ma'am.
congratulations to all of your successes, sis. You are really out here doing it again as an OG in the game. It has been an honor to have you here on the Woman's Hustle. And all of the details that she just gave y'all will be in the podcast notes. So don't feel like that you're not gonna know. We're gonna make sure that you get a link to her music. We're gonna make sure you get links to the podcast. We're gonna make sure
Yes.
you get links to what she's got upcoming, in the future, so you can stay updated with her. I am just so honored to have you here on the Woman's Hustle. And I know that someone is definitely going to get great value and just great motivation and insight and spiritual motivation from this episode. And thank you so much for sharing that with us.
Thank you so very much for having me on. I was just so excited. I'm so glad that we finally connected.
I
And
know,
we're able
right?
to do this show, because you know what? That's another
Absolutely.
thing before we go. Follow up.
Yes.
If you don't learn anything from this broadcast today, follow up is your
Absolutely.
friend. That is your best friend as an entrepreneur, because
You
you
better
can
tell it.
miss a great opportunity if you don't follow up. Me and Keisha been following up and following up and following up and following up, and we've been doing that. But look at us today, sharing all
Absolutely.
these nuggets and pearls and things just for
I
all of you
love
that's
it.
watching. So
And
remember,
you're
as an
welcome back
entrepreneur,
anytime. So please, anytime you want to come, sis, let me know. I appreciate y'all so much for tuning in. I again hope you got great value from this episode. I definitely want feedback from this. Let me know what you thought about the episode. Reach out to me, reach out to Dr. Sonja. Hey, let us know how y'all felt about the episode. But you can find me on Coach K Transforms on all platforms. Subscribe to the Woman's Hustle podcast. Subscribe to the Upgraded Mindsets YouTube channel, where you can stream both the Woman's Hustle, Thrills and Spills of Entrepreneurship, and the Empowering Real Talk podcast as well. You can find all of that in one place right there on the YouTube channel. So go subscribe, all right? I appreciate y'all so much for tuning in. Y'all stay easy. Listen, entrepreneurship is no easy task, but if it's destined for you, baby, that journey is necessary. So let's make it do what it do. Stay empowered, y'all. Till next time.